For nearly a decade, a classic British sitcom captured the hearts of viewers across the world. Known for its humorous portrayal of cultural differences, it brought together an unforgettable ensemble of characters. As the show unfolded, fans eagerly tuned in to witness the quirky, often hilarious interactions between the students and their eccentric teacher. The unique blend of personalities, each with their own comedic charm, made it a standout in television history. However, time marches on, and as the years go by, we're left reflecting on the legacy these actors created. Unfortunately, all the beloved cast members from this show have since passed away, leaving us with only memories of their remarkable performances. Today, we look back at the stars of Mind Your Language, 1977-1986, and honor their contributions to television. Join us as we remember these iconic figures and their lasting impact on one of Britain's most cherished sitcoms. Barry Evans as Jeremy Brown. Barry Evans, known for his role as Jeremy Brown in Mind Your Language, 1977 to 1986, tragically passed away in 1997 under mysterious circumstances. Evans portrayed the well-meaning and patient English teacher, a character that became a cornerstone of the sitcom. In the show, his character, despite being constantly exasperated by his eccentric students, remained an enduring figure of good humor and professionalism. Off-screen, Evans' personal life seemed much quieter than his character's antics. Barry Evans was found dead in his London apartment in 1997, and the circumstances surrounding his death have remained shrouded in uncertainty. The coroner's report revealed that Evans had suffered a blow to the head, but it wasn't clear whether this was the result of foul play, an accident, or something else entirely. Additionally, there were high levels of alcohol in his system at the time, raising questions about whether alcohol played a role in the incident or whether it was part of the larger picture of his tragic passing. Evans's death has been a subject of speculation, with no official cause ever being confirmed. Some close to him speculated that he had been struggling with personal issues, but the full details remain unclear. Despite the mystery surrounding his death, Barry Evans is remembered for his iconic role in Mind Your Language and his significant contribution to British television during the 1970s and 1980s. His untimely passing at the age of 53 left many fans mourning the loss of a beloved actor. Zara Nutley as Dolores Courtney. Zara Nutley, who portrayed the stern and imperious principal, Miss Dolores Courtney in Mind Your Language, passed away in 2016 at the age of 90. Her character, a no-nonsense school principal with a pronounced disdain for men and a preference for female staff, became a memorable part of the show's dynamic. Miss Courtney was often portrayed as rigid, occasionally offering comic relief with her disapproving visits to Mr. Brown's classroom. Zara Nutley, in real life, had a career in acting that spanned several decades. After her time on Mind Your Language, she remained largely out of the limelight. In her later years, Nutley faced ongoing health challenges and spent her final years in a nursing home. Despite her health struggles, she endured with strength and grace, quietly living out her last years away from the public eye. Her death marked the end of an era for the show's fans, as she had been one of the more memorable characters in the series. Nutley's portrayal of Miss Courtney was a testament to her skill as an actress, able to bring life to a character who was both imperious and, at times, unintentionally humorous. Her passing at 90 came after a long and courageous battle with ill health, and she is remembered fondly for her contribution to British television. Iris Sadler as Gladys, 1908 to 1991. Iris Sadler, who portrayed the lovable and spirited tea lady Gladys in Mind Your Language, passed away in 1991 at the age of 83. Gladys, a warm-hearted and chatty character, brought a dose of humor and warmth to the show as she interacted with both Mr. Brown and the other characters, often offering friendly advice and gossip. Despite her position in the cafeteria, she was an integral part of the school's atmosphere, often seen as a confidant to both the students and staff. Iris Sadler's portrayal of Gladys brought a unique charm to the series, especially in her interactions with Mr. Brown, where she was often seen teasing him or tattling on Miss Courtney. Her character, a vivacious widow in her 70s, was full of life and served as a kind-hearted contrast to some of the more rigid personalities at the school. Sadler's passing in 1991 marked the loss of one of the show's beloved characters. She had retired from acting after her time on Mind Your Language, and there is little information available about her later years. However, her legacy as Gladys the Tea Lady lives on, as her role in the series remains one of the highlights of the show's early seasons. Tommy Godfrey as Sydney, 1916 to 1984. Tommy Godfrey, who played the rough-around-the-edges school caretaker Sydney in Mind Your Language, passed away in 1984 at the age of 67. His portrayal of Sydney, a Cockney man with a fondness for alcohol, rhyming slang, and a good trick, made him a memorable character in the show. Sydney's tough exterior, combined with his roguish charm, created an amusing contrast to the more formal figures like Miss Courtney. His interactions with Mr. Brown and Gladys often provided both comic relief and a glimpse into the character's playful, if mischievous, nature. Sydney's quirks, such as his hearing difficulties, stealing supplies, and tricking students into buying him drinks, highlighted his cheeky persona. Despite his roguish ways, he was well liked by the other characters, and his camaraderie with Mr. Brown and Gladys brought a touch of warmth to the series. His relationship with his long-term partner was also a source of humor, especially with his unconventional approach to their anniversary. Tommy Godfrey's death in 1984 marked the loss of a beloved character, as Sydney's memorable presence added both humor and a touch of heart to Mind Your Language. Though Godfrey's time in the spotlight was relatively short, his portrayal of Sydney remains a standout in the series, and he is fondly remembered by fans of the show. Dino Shafik as Ali Nadim. Dino Shafik, who played the charismatic Ali Nadim in Mind Your Language, tragically passed away on March 10, 1984, just 11 days before his 54th birthday. Shafik died suddenly from a heart attack at his home in London, where he was with his fiancée, Leslie Didcock. His untimely death left fans of the show and the acting community in shock and sadness, as he was still relatively young and had so much more to offer. In Mind Your Language, Shafik portrayed Ali Nadim, a Pakistani immigrant who initially struggled to find work, but eventually landed a job as a door-to-door salesman. His character was known for being outspoken, hard-working, and often misunderstood in his attempts to speak English, which led to many comedic moments. Ali, who wore his iconic Jinnah cap, had a fiery rivalry with Ranjit, the Indian Sikh student, highlighting the cultural tensions between the two. Despite this, Ali's character remained honest, earnest, and always ready with his humorous catchphrases like, "Yes, please, oh blimey," and "Squeeze me, please," which became part of the show's charm. Shafik's portrayal of Ali was one of the most beloved in the series, with his unique blend of humor and sincerity endearing him to audiences. His sudden death at such a young age was a devastating loss, and Mind Your Language fans, as well as his colleagues, mourned the loss of a talented actor who had made a significant impact in a short time. Shafik's legacy continues through his memorable role, and his contributions to television remain fondly remembered. George Camiller as Giovanni Capello. George Camiller, who portrayed the hilariously loud and endearing Giovanni Capello in Mind Your Language, is one of the few cast members still alive today. Giovanni, the boisterous Italian chef, was a standout character on the show, known for his humorous misunderstandings of the English language and his enthusiastic, larger-than-life personality. Giovanni was the class's loudest student and served as the de facto monitor, often taking charge in his own unique way. His relationship with Max, his best friend and flatmate, added a fun dynamic to the show. One of Giovanni's most notable quirks was his difficulty with understanding English metaphors and large words, leading to plenty of comedic misunderstandings. However, Giovanni often intentionally misanswered questions just to amuse the class, making him a fan favorite. His catchphrases, including Santa Maria, Holy Ravioli, Buonasera, and Okie Kokie became iconic, adding a touch of humor to his every appearance. When confused, Giovanni would simply say "scusi," which became another trademark of his character. Giovanni's full name was humorously long, featuring several Italian first names: Giovanni Vincenzo Marco Dino Alberto Leonardo, further emphasizing his exaggerated persona. His last name was occasionally spelt Cupello in the closing credits, a minor detail that added to the comedic inconsistencies of his character. George Camiller's portrayal of Giovanni Capello left a lasting impression on Mind Your Language viewers. The character was beloved for his warmth, humor, and constant effort to fit in despite his linguistic challenges. Though his character was a stereotype, Camiller's performance added layers of charm and humor, making Giovanni Capello a timeless character in British television. George Camiller's continued presence in the world today serves as a reminder of the unforgettable role he played in this classic sitcom. Ricardo Montes as Juan Cervantes. Ricardo Montes, who portrayed the warm-hearted and optimistic Juan Cervantes in Mind Your Language, left a lasting impact on the show with his endearing performance. Juan, a Spanish Catholic bartender, was often the source of light-hearted moments, thanks to his overconfident answers that were sometimes completely wrong. His infectious laugh and sunny disposition made him one of the most charming characters on the show, even as he struggled with the English language. Early in the series, Juan spoke very little English, often responding to questions with the word "por favor," please. This created comedic situations, especially when Giovanni had to act as his translator, as the two characters' mutually unintelligible languages, Spanish and Italian, allowed for some amusing exchanges. Juan's limited English skills were one of his defining traits, and his comical misinterpretations of the language added to the show's humor. His iconic catchphrase, "S'all right," became a signature of his character, as did his tendency to apologize with "sorry, wrong number" whenever he was corrected. Despite his language barriers, Juan's optimism and affable nature shone through, making him a beloved character among fans. As the series progressed, Juan's English gradually improved, but he continued to speak a blend of English and Spanish, which contributed to the comedic charm of his interactions with the other students. He also developed a strong bond with Mr. Brown, whom he considered almost like family. This deep sense of care and affection added a layer of warmth to Juan's character, as he was always supportive of Mr. Brown and eager to help in any way he could. Ricardo Montes's portrayal of Juan Cervantes is fondly remembered for its humor, heart, and the endearing optimism of a man simply trying his best to learn a new language and make his way in the world. Montes's legacy continues to live on through the character's timeless appeal. Albert Moses as Ranjit Singh. Albert Moses, who portrayed the charismatic and often argumentative Ranjit Singh in Mind Your Language, passed away in 2017 at the age of 79. Moses brought the character of Ranjit, a London Underground employee from Punjab, India, to life with a unique blend of humor and depth. Ranjit, a devout Sikh, was frequently at odds with his fellow student Ali Nadim due to their cultural differences. A memorable moment from the first episode saw Ranjit being mistakenly identified as Pakistani by Mr. Brown, leading to a humorous yet poignant cultural mix-up. Ranjit's character, while often combative with Ali, particularly over their differing religions and nationalities, was far from one-dimensional. Despite their rivalry, the two characters developed a deeper friendship as the series progressed. This evolution of their relationship added a layer of richness to the show, showing how misunderstandings could turn into camaraderie over time. Ranjit's command of English was good, though he occasionally mixed up his general knowledge, providing more comedic moments. His signature response to being corrected was always a humble, "1,000 apologies," which became a beloved catchphrase of the character. Ranjit's calm demeanor, especially when angered, was occasionally challenged by his willingness to threaten others with his kirpan, a traditional Sikh sword, adding a bit of tension to his otherwise jovial presence on the show. Despite his fiery personality, Ranjit was a character with honor, and his development throughout the series was both entertaining and meaningful. Albert Moses's passing in 2017 was a significant loss to the entertainment industry. His portrayal of Ranjit remains a key part of Mind Your Language's enduring appeal, and his contributions to the series continue to be fondly remembered by fans. Pixen Lim as Chung-Soo Lee. Pixen Lim, who portrayed the unique and memorable Chung-Soo Lee in Mind Your Language, remains a beloved figure from the show and is still alive today. Chung, a secretary at the Chinese embassy, was a standout character due to her strong ideological beliefs and her unwavering devotion to Chairman Mao. A stereotypical Chinese communist character, Chung was always seen carrying her Little Red Book of Mao, from which she frequently quoted in class. Her devotion to Mao's teachings and her often humorous mispronunciations, particularly with the mixing of her R and L sounds, became some of her character's defining traits. In the early episodes, Chung had a fierce ideological rivalry with her Japanese classmate Taro, stemming from their country's historical tensions. This rivalry provided a comedic backdrop for many of their interactions. However, as the series progressed, the dynamic between Chung and Taro softened, with Taro often coming to her defense when others insulted her or China, reflecting the growth of their friendship and mutual respect. Chung's interactions with her classmates, especially her stubbornness in defending her beliefs, added a layer of humor to the show while touching on the cultural and political differences of the time. Chung's frequent quoting of Chairman Mao's teachings often resulted in humorous exchanges with Mr. Brown. His usual response to her quoting was, "That's a matter of opinion," which cleverly reflected the differing perspectives on her fervent political beliefs. Despite her stern political nature, Chung's character was full of charm, and her occasional clashes with other students provided much of the comedic tension in the show. Pixen Lim's portrayal of Chung-Soo Lee remains a memorable part of Mind Your Language, and her character's evolution from ideological rivalry to unlikely friendship with Taro continues to stand out as one of the show's most endearing arcs. Robert Lee as Taro Nagazumi. Robert Lee, who portrayed the charming yet humorous Taro Nagazumi in Mind Your Language, sadly passed away in 1986 at the age of 73. His character, a Japanese electronics executive working for the fictional Bushido Electronics, became one of the standout personalities in the series, bringing a unique blend of comedic quirks and cultural richness. Taro was a Japanese national living in London, and his character's most notable trait was his habit of adding an O to almost every word he spoke, creating a memorable and endearing speech pattern. For example, he would say, "Thank O" or "England O," which became one of his signature catchphrases. Additionally, Taro would bow and exclaim, "Ah so," whenever addressed, adding to the character's comedic charm. Initially, Taro and Chung-Soo Lee had a tense and antagonistic relationship, rooted in the political tensions between Japan and China during the 1970s. Their rivalry provided much of the early conflict in the series, with the two often clashing over ideological differences. However, as the series progressed, Taro and Soo Lee's relationship softened, and they developed a mutual respect, even friendship, despite their differing backgrounds. This transformation added depth to both characters, showing how common ground could be found even in the most unlikely of situations. In addition to his language and cultural differences, Taro was often seen carrying a camera, which became another distinctive part of his persona. His presence in Mind Your Language brought a delightful dynamic to the show, as his character was not only a source of humor, but also reflected the social and cultural tensions of the time. Robert Lee's death in 1986 marked the loss of a beloved cast member, but his portrayal of Taro Nagazumi continues to be fondly remembered by fans of Mind Your Language. His character's humorous nature and character development remain two of the most memorable aspects of the show. As we've seen, Mind Your Language brought together a diverse and memorable group of characters, each with their own unique quirks and personalities. Sadly, the passing of so many of the cast members over the years has left a lasting void for fans of the show. From the comedic antics of Mr. Brown to the cultural clashes and heartwarming moments shared between students, the cast brought the series to life in a way that continues to resonate with audiences today. The contributions of each actor, whether it was the humorous miscommunications, the cultural clashes, or the genuine friendships that developed, have solidified Mind Your Language as a classic sitcom. While these talented individuals are no longer with us, their performances live on, ensuring that their legacy will always be remembered. Their ability to bring humor, heart, and humanity to their characters is why Mind Your Language remains such a beloved show. Though time has passed, the memories and laughter they created will continue to be cherished by fans for generations to come.